Welcome back to my window cleaning training series. In this video, I want to talk about abrasives. Abrasives are used in window cleaning after you typically scrub the window with like your microfiber sleeve or a water-fed pole. There might be debris on the glass that's just not coming off. So sometimes you need a walnut pad or a white pad to get that extra scrub, to get to the extra layer of dirt. Or you may need something more aggressive like Xero steel wool. Or if there's fingerprints or silicone, you may need to use something like a magic eraser. And then there's also a lot of different pad holders to hold these abrasive pads if you need to use them on a pole or want to cover more surface area at one time. Let me focus in on some of these close up so you can really see what they look like. Then I'm also going to show you how to use them on the glass. The most common pad used or known from window cleaners is going to be a white pad. Looks like that up close. It's 4/0 grade, so safe for windows. You just want to use it on tint, but you can use it by hand or use it on a pad holder. Next is a walnut pad. Exact same as a white pad, just has walnut dust in it. Helps keeps its shape a little longer, so as you use it, it doesn't flatten out as quick. I find the walnut pads or white pads with everyday use typically last about 2 to 3 weeks. You can dunk this in your bucket and wring it out if it gets really dirty at a job. Next is steel wool. So if you want something more aggressive, this is going to be the way to go. You always want to make sure you get quad 0 grade. You see that in the back. You never want to do triple aught, 2/0, or single aught because that can scratch glass. Typically will come in these little bundles like this. You can undo the bundle if you want more surface area or wrapping it around some sort of pad holder. You can also buy these in 5-pound rolls. If you're going to be using it wet after you apply the solution with your microfiber strip washer, you can really go through and scrub down the whole window. Once again, never use on aftermarket tint. And also if you have a little bug spot or a fingerprint after you clean the window, you can typically take the steel wool and buff it out. Next is going to be a magic eraser. So magic erasers are really good for silicone, or if you have a fingerprint that's left behind after you clean the window, that's what it's going to be helpful for. I don't use these in the same method as walnut pads, white pads, or steel wool. And basically after I scrub the window with my microfiber strip washer, to scrub the whole window down with this. But these are extremely helpful, especially on construction cleaning. So I highly suggest getting some of these. Super cheap and a good thing to add into your tool belt. Cool thing is on a lot of these different pads, this is a make your handy sleeve. You could wrap this around it, put it on there if you want to use this on a pole or anything like that. Same thing with the Pulex Techno pad. This is a nice pivoting, very ergonomic pad holder that can fit in on an extension pole too. It's not gonna lock in, but it's gonna hold very snug. You can put walnut pads or white pads on there. Has those little Velcro strips on there. They last for a really long time. For only about $30 for the whole handle, the pad, and a few walnut pads, it's a great choice as far as having something easy to put on a loop on a belt. There's also pad holders out there like this one from Unger, which is a Xero thread. So if you're looking to attach something to your water-fed pole, also has a swivel, you can do one of these as well. Now let me show you how you would use them in your process for window cleaning. So after you scrub down the window, let's use this. Scrub down the whole pane. This window's not very dirty, but typically what you'll find on like a yearly clean, bi-yearly, or longer is after you do this, if you were to squeeze off the solution, you would still see basically dirt there that's not being agitated enough from the microfiber. So you take something like your walnut or your white pad. Let's choose a white pad first. And when you just scrub real thoroughly, getting into the corners with your fingers. I like to go on the edges first. You just go over the window like this. You'll notice your solution will get a lot more foamy. Just really getting into the corners. That's going to be your main areas that are going to be hard to lift off and agitate. Sometimes when it's a hotter day, by the time you get up here back to the top, you'll see this drying out a bit. So you can reapply your solution again and then squeegee off. Okay, now let's say that you like saw a bug spot or something like that on this window. I don't know if I'm really gonna find one because it stays pretty clean, but that's where you could take your dry steel wool and you could just like buff out a spot. I have some old videos on my channel showing like a lot more of this process, but you could check that out. But like, there's a small little mark right there. I don't know if I can get it on video. Let me see, right there, see that small speckle? Quad Xero steel wool just takes it away. There's a little bit of probably silicone or adhesive from construction. Take that Quad Xero steel wool, and I just buff it out. That's it. That's why it's so nice just to have a dry piece of Quad Xero steel wool. Now, let's say that the window was super dirty, really dirty, and the white pad or the walnut pad, being the same grade, is just not taking care of it very well. That's where you could use Quad Xero steel wool wet. I wouldn't advise going over the whole window with it dry, but I'll like open it up like this, or sometimes I'll even put it inside a white pad for like more cushion. But for the video, let's just use it like this. It just agitates really well. So even if you have a little bit of paint that's on the glass, like not a lot, but just a little bit of overspray, it'll take off that. And these are just abrasives, so this isn't the same as like a scraper. I don't qualify that in the same grade. So I keep that wet, I keep that separate from everything else. When this does rust, you want to throw it away. You don't want to reuse it once it starts rusting. And then from there, once again, if you need to, especially when it's warmer, you're gonna have to reapply your solution with your sleeve. So usually these steps are used in residential window cleaning, not so much in commercial window cleaning when you're doing something on a routine basis, or you're doing a very basic clean and not trying to go through and remove everything. And next, magic eraser. So I don't have anything here, but like I showed you with those little tiny spots that were up there, when there's something like silicone or something, let's see, there's like a small piece of something there. So it's a very like non-scratch type of pad, but you can use it almost in the same way as dry steel wool. So I just took away this little piece. I have a little bit of paint speckles here. So just while we're at it, I want to show you. Quad Xero steel wool just takes it away. So I'm not using a scraper. I'm just using that Quad Xero steel wool to take that off. Okay. But that's what you could be using the melamine pad for, is not the paint. But if you see like a finger print or something after you get done, or a little mark of silicone, you can use this. You'll really find out more and more uses for these as you use them on construction cleans. Sometimes though, it can leave a little white scuff behind. I don't know if you see this. There's a little bit of kind of a white powder there, and it's also a little bit older of a pad. So I would advise at that point to re-clean the window. But let's say I didn't have this step ladder here, or I didn't have this chair here, and I wanted to get the whole window scrubbed pretty well. So that's where these different pad holders come into place, and this is just the one that I love. Used it for so many years, works really well. So it's a walnut pad on here, pressure fits to any really pull tip, not it's going to be threaded on. And then you can use this to really scrub the window well. Covers the whole area. Now if the windows are super dirty, just like I talked about earlier, you might need to get up close to them to really get into that corners. But out of all the different abrasive holders, this one really works the best. Then of course, as you see, a lot of my solution is dried there. It's about a 70-degree day, so I can go back over it, get it all wet again. Then use the pull techniques we've gone over a little bit. Squeegee my solution down, whether or not you want to use straight pulls or whatever. It's all going to work out well. Well, that's it as far as different abrasives for window cleaning. These are going to be your three main ones. So white pad, walnut pad, steel wool, and that was some of the ways to use them on the glass. If you have any further questions about abrasives, please comment below, but I hope this video has helped, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.